ओके ओके ओके.
लिंक पाठवली आहे ना.
हो मिळाली.
Yes, ma'am. Done. We can start now.
Yes. Megha, are you there? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Yeah. We can start. Who is ready to give a presentation?
Ma'am, we are ready to give our presentation.
Your good name?
Anuja Kittur.
Okay. You can start.
Yes, Anuja, just a minute. I will make you co-host.
Okay, ma'am.
Anuja, what is your surname?
Ma'am, Kittur.
Okay. Yes, Anuja, you are now co-host. You can start. You can share your screen.
Ma'am, is the screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, ma'am. The project is done by me and other 10 members. So let's begin. Now, what is gender? Gender is what is biologically assigned to an individual, and gender is what a person identifies himself or herself as. Gender is not binary, it is a spectrum. So we cannot define as a transgender or male, female, all are equal. Gender sensitivity is the act of being sensitive to the ways people think about gender. Gender sensitivity tries to ensure that people rely less on assumptions about traditional and outdated views on the roles. Sex and gender. Sex refers to the biological and physiological characters that defines men and women. Gender, which refers to the socially constructed roles, behaviors, activities, and attributes that a given society considers appropriate for men and women. Thus, while sex is permanent and universal, gender construction varies from one society to another. To put it in another way, male and female are sex categories, while masculine and feminine are gender categories. In this picture, we are seeing that one boy is telling another girl to do the work while he was leaving for his work. The girl is saying to the man that half of the work I am doing, it is an unpaid work. You are not giving me your money and using me for your work. I will not do. Men and women are equally able to work, so you have to work also. Language matters. Gender sensitivity often gets expressed through people's language choice. We can choose more inclusive language and use words that are gender neutral. Thank you, ma'am. From this, Shadul Behre will take over. Shardul?
Thank you, Anuja. Gender roles. Gender role is a set of social and behavioral norms that are generally considered appropriate for either a man or a woman in a social or interpersonal relationship. Gender discriminatory words are not innocent by making women non-apparent. Society will see them as possessing less value. Gender equality benefits both men and women by giving them wider choice. Socialization. Gender roles determine how males and females should think, speak, dress, and interact within the context of society. They define what is masculine and feminine. Parents, teachers, peers, films, televisions, and religion teaches the reinforce gender roles. Benefits. Allow boys to express their emotions, encourage them to be expressive, involve them in activities like hello ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Activities like gardening and cooking, expose girls to role models of women in business, especially those outside the out,
Hello, Shardul, are you there? Ma'am, let me continue. Expose girls to role models of women in business, especially those outside the stereotype, like doctors, scientists, and leaders. These role models will help girls to see themselves in profession outside the normal stereotypes. So now this is the poster. We have to stop violence against women, and another poster of the girl telling that don't tell me how to dress, tell them not to rape. So this is it, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am?
Very good.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. Next one.
Next group.
Hello.
Yes, who is next?
I have received.
Ma'am, can I start?
Yes, what is your name?
Resham Sabre.
Yes,
Yes,
just a
please,
minute. I will make you co-host.
Resham, please note that do not read the slides.
Sure, ma'am.
Explain what point you want to focus. That will be fine. Because you have sent me the presentation, so I can read it. Please don't read. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Yes, Resham, you are now co-host. You can share your screen.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes. Yes, Resham.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm here to discuss, I'm here on behalf of my group, Eyes of Equality, to discuss about understanding the gender sensitivity. So the concept of gender sensitivity had developed as a way to reduce barriers to personal and economic development created by sexism. As our society has made men and women based on their social perspective that how one gender should behave. So here are the perception which our society has rests. Like for men, they should be strong, primal, rational, and cannot have feelings which may be strong. So they should be thinking in a rational way, means which we say that we should think just by our mind, not by our heart. They should be hardworking. They should be like a leader, boss. Their voice should be so strong that it should make someone shiver by just hearing their voice. And their expectations is like to don't not to make women do hard work, always have to control the people around them, should have the best whatever they do, and mainly they shouldn't pour their emotion out in front of everyone. Likewise, we have for women, that is females, that they are weak, they are emotional, they cannot think properly, they don't do hard work, they can't be a leader, they shouldn't be there to make a decision. They should always stay home, do not participate in any kind of social gathering where kind of opinion is needed. And as they are emotional and weak, they are supposed to cry. These are some of the perspective which our society has made, which is logically very wrong, because this doesn't define a person. A person doesn't defined by their gender. So for that, we made gender equality. So we have made that equality between men and women should be equality in dignity and rights and in the outcomes. Both men and women are free to develop their any personal abilities or any choices without being limited by what a male should do and what a female should do. The gender equality society, a society in which both men and women are equal, they have the opportunity to participate any kind of social activities. Yes, gender equality never means that they should have equal physical opportunity. They should have equal cerebral opportunity. So this is the main thing which many people misunderstood, that gender equality is like we should give women always the rights, or we should not give the men this rights. It's just for the opportunity of our mental skills. That's why the gender equality doesn't mean that men and women have to be the same, but it can be only achieved when the women and men enjoy the same rights, responsibilities, and opportunity across all the society. Equality education is important for the girls and women, preventing gender-based violence, and equality through educational careers also remain. If we add this in education from the child, from the childhood or from the pre-primary, we can make the children to understand the gender equality, which we don't understand it now. We should uh, that a man and woman are, we should treat both of them equally. They both should have equal rights about expressing their self in society, in family, anywhere. This is a website where they teach the gender based things. So here we can register and create an account. You should sign in and use account and scroll down and start the following cases, trainings for gender sensitivity. And there are laws and mandates. Finish the lessons, answer the quiz, and download the certificate of completion. This can make the society think about their opinions, which they are pressuring on someone, which is not right. So here I thank you for presenting, for making me present this presentation. Our group name is Eyes of Equality. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Shreyas, mute yourself.
Thank you, Resham. Thank you very much. It was good.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. It's nice. Next one, Atharva.
Yes, just a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can we present our presentation?
Yes, sure.
Yes, ma'am. I will start screening.
Shall I take on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I am Suyesh Garat from the GU. On the behalf of the group Aspiration, today we are going to discuss about the gender equality. And as our group's title is Aspiration, it means motivation. So we are talking about, our topic is gender equality. So we are here to motivate about gender equality. Our group's our slogans are: gender equality is a human fight, not a female fight. Join the majority, vote for equality. There should be no word like feminism or machoism in the world, only equalism. When the sun rises, it rises from everywhere, everyone. Equal rights for others does not mean less rights for others. So here is a quick summary for the points that are as follows. The first point is gender equality. Second is what is gender equality. Third, why is it important. Fourth, themes. Fifth, examples of equality and inequality between genders. And the sixth is conclusion. Suraj, will you take on?
Yes. Hello everyone. So gender equality, also known as sexual equality or equality of the sexes, is the state of equal ease or uh, sorry, access to resources and opportunity regardless of gender, including economic participation and decision making, and the state of valuing different behaviors, aspirations, needs equally regardless of gender. Means every gender should be, no matter it be male or female, it should be treated equally, and uh, treated equally. No one should say that this particular group of people or particular gender is weak or something like it. Next, what is gender equality? The process of being fair to women. Why is it important? For the success of our organization's GR, for the nations and the whole world's GR, it is the right thing to do and the smart thing to do. Companies with female board representation outperform those who has no women on their board. Business who include females in leadership do better than those who do not. So, thank you, ma'am. I
Yeah.
now so
Have you
Vedant.
finished?
Good
No,
afternoon.
no.
Yeah, thanks, Suraj. Yeah, so as we can see, we need to get out of the stereotypical image about men and women, because giving everybody an equal opportunity will benefit us, and we can see the results. Giving everybody an equal opportunity will help us in all aspects of life. It may be social, economical, political. It will help us in all ways. So I think we should strive to build a society that gives everyone an equal opportunity. Yeah, I will pass on to Atharva.
Yes, Atharva. आवाज येतोय का माझा? हॅलो.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, where is Atharva? Have you finished?
No, ma'am. There must be some technical problem. Just a minute.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am, my mic was mute. Hello, ma'am. There are some examples of gender inequality. Women and men are always differ in many ways. Women are always taunted by that they can't drive neatly, safely. Also, the access for educations all that men should study more and women should work at home, and also at office or job they are sometimes paid less because they can't do overnight jobs and men's do overnight jobs. Also at they suffer inequality at home. When there is distribution of property at home, they are told that they will get married to someone else and will go there. So how can they get their property? and men are preferred more for property and in other things also. Also, the girls are told that they should play with dolls and all things, and men are told that they should play with toys and they should get strong. Also, in social things, men are prefer more for jobs and in other things also. Also, in political career, men are prefer always first because they can do more things, and women also does not get right to vote. Also, at equality at workplace, both should be treated equally, and not only men should be get preferred. Now the generation has been changed, and there is equality in our generation. All are getting things right, and we can now see gender equality in all things. Now women are also taking part in many things, and they also get many opportunities. Now all are equal. So, ma'am, Vedant will take over.
Okay.
Thank you. Definitely, we have seen all the problems. Yeah. Can you get back to the conclusions slide?
Okay.
Yeah, as we have seen all the problems and the discrimination in the genders, but obviously with a lot of determination and heart, we can put this behind us and just strive towards equality. But we have been making constant efforts for so many years. So why haven't we able to achieve our target? So I think obviously there are n number of reasons, but I think one major reason is that gender equality is kind of seen as men versus women. And I have seen on many public forums and platforms that both the genders contradict each other and fight to prove their points. But instead of fighting, they should complement each other, understand each other's problems and prejudice, and understand and complement each other so we can carve our way to equality. Thank you.
Very good. Now, Parth, are you ready?
Ma'am, can I present?
Yeah, actually, in chat box, everyone is saying that they are present.
Actually, ma'am, I had sent the second message. I mean, I have been sent to everyone. I had sent to only the host.
Okay, okay. After Parth, you can give a presentation.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I
Parth
audible?
is there? Yeah, Parth.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Ma'am, will you make me co-host?
Yeah.
Parth, you can share a screen.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Just a second. Yeah. Is my screen visible to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Parth Wag, and our group name is Revolution of Thoughts, and our slogan is there nothing is wrong with you. There's a lot wrong with the world you live in. I'd like Vrushali to take over from this. Vrushali. Vrushali, will you take over?
वृषाली अनम्यूट करायचंय वाटतं वृषाली तिला काहीतरी. पूजा मॅडम ती आहे. झाली वृषाली अनम्यूट. Okay, Parth, You continue.
Okay. So we are going to present our presentation on the LGBTQ community. LGBTQ means lesbians, gay, bisexuals, transgenders, and queers. So these are some kind of, you know, sexual orientations of the people. Next slide is gender acceptance. Actually, we are in the middle of gender revolution. We aren't merely male or female. There are transgenders, transgender fluids, non-binary gender. People are no longer confining themselves to the classification of the bodies they were born with or society's rules for what those bodies can and cannot do. The origin of world first LGBTQ was recorded in 2005 to 2010. These are some of the symbols that represent the genders. The first one is gay, second one is trans, third one is lesbian, and fourth one is bisexual. These people, lesbians, gays, they go through tremendous depressions while they are coming through these stages. Like if they want to come out, then they have lots of issues because society acceptance is an issue. There are lots of hormonal changes in them, so they face depressions, anxieties, PTSDs. So these kind of things happen to them on normal basis. So it is an issue according to me. Recently, there was, section 377, which got, so what section 377 is, section 377 accepted the gay marriages in India. So before that, the gay marriages were not permitted. If you were caught and all, then you would have 10 years prison, and you are liable to pay some kind of fine and all. And section 377 got enabled in India and all over the world. Then this slide is about Pride Month. In June every year, there is an occasion for these kind of community people. They celebrate Pride Month. So there are lots of parades and all. Lots of people around the world participate in these kind of parades and all. And what this Pride Month mean is they are proud of themselves, of what they are. So this is what it is. These are some of the pictures about Pride Month. So you can see this is a flag which the LGBTQ community represents. And this presentation is done by me, Rushali, Mrudula, Ruchita, Ayush Somani, Avdut, Aditya Kunjir, and Nishant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can we present next?
Ma'am, can I?
Just a minute. I want to talk on this presentation. Please wait. It was a nice because you have covered a topic LGBTQ, and very nicely you explained it. So
thank you.
You have done well. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello.
Ma'am, can we present?
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, can I?
Yeah, Anaya, I think.
Anushka, ma'am.
Anushka. Oh, yeah, Anushka, please.
Yeah. Ma'am, can you make me co-host?
Just a minute.
Ma'am, is my screen visible?
Yes.
And am I audible now clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So I will start now. I'm going to explain our PPT on behalf of our group. Um, my name is Anushka, and our group's topic is gender equality at different places. First, I would like to give a little information about gender sensitivity. So, gender sensitivity is a process by which people are made aware of how gender plays a role in life through their treatment of others. Now, the following slides, which I'll show the lack of gender sensitivity at different places. Now, this slide shows gender sensitivity where it lacks at home. So whenever girls and boys are given the work, mostly the girls are given the work of domestic chores like cooking and cleaning. When it comes to boys, they are not given the household chores. Like this segregation of household labor tells children that they are expected to take on different roles based on their gender. This gender discrimination at home leads the children and have a different effect on their mindset, which makes them unaware about gender sensitivity at home. Next, at workplace. Achieving gender equality is important for workplaces not only because it is fair and the right thing to do, but because it is also linked to a country's overall economic performance. Workplace gender equality is associated with improved national productivity and economic growth. As every member of an organization seeks to learn and grow in their place of work, an insensitive workplace not only hampers that but also helps becomes the workplace a hostile. Sensitivity is extremely important as it helps employees feel valued and cared for within the organization. So the now again next slide shows how the gender sensitivity lacks at public places. Public space is not experienced in the same way depending on gender. Gender inequality in public space begins with the invisibilization of women in public space. This public space is not a neutral space in terms of gender equality. The gendered conception of the city contributes to defining. It has been shown that now women and men do not move around the city in the same way. They do not use the same public places and are not exposed to same difficulties in public space. Now the gender discrimination in different religions. The effects of religion and development in the area of gender equality has been considered substantial in academic work as well as in popular and political discourse. A common understanding in every religion depresses women's rights in general. The analysis shown here suggests that the connection between religion and women development is correlated. In this slide, we can see that many a times women are not being considered a part of decision making, and leadership roles are almost given to only male. So now in this slides, we in the earlier slides we have seen how there is lack of gender insensitivity in at different places. So awareness plays an important role. For now, why awareness is important? As gender awareness plays an important role in forming women and men about gender equality, the benefits of more gender equal society and the consequences of gender inequality. Gender awareness raising entails to change attitudes, behaviors, beliefs that reinforce inequalities between women and men. Now, this slide shows how awareness is important. Just a second. Now, from concluding above the slides, I would like to say that equality can be defined as the situation where every individual has the same rights and equal opportunity to grow and prosper. Every individual of a society dreams for equal rights and access to resources available at their disposal. But there is a lot of still discrimination in between gender. So equality can only be achieved when both male and female individuals are treated similarly. This slide shows the methods can be used to promote gender sensitivity in environment. Now here, this slide shows some examples. The first example highlights how men are nowadays helping and taking the responsibility of household chores and children. The second example shows how UN women in the legislative bodies, the percentage has increased. And the third example shows how Boston Consulting Group has given emphasis on diverse of workforce. That means women and men are given equal position and equality in working. And the last shows earlier how the men and women were paid on their gender basis, but now both of them are paid on equal terms. And I now thank you on behalf of my group for listening. Thank you. Ma'am?
Hello, ma'am. Shall we present our presentation?
Hello, Anish is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anish, can you please present?
Yes, ma'am. Anish Mudholkar. Can you make Anish Mudholkar the host?
Yeah, you can. You are a
Co-host,
host. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Anish, do one thing. Please tell
Okay.
first your group name. Everyone, please note everyone. Before starting your presentation, you tell your name, your group name, and how many participants are in your group. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Please start.
Just give me a second. Hello, ma'am. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, ma'am. So, our name is, we don't have a group name, a formal group name, but we have a beautiful slogan. It's from Sanskrit. And I request Anish Deshpande to spell it out for all of you. Anish, over to you.
Thank you, Anish. So, ma'am, the name of our group, we don't have a name for our group. We have a slogan. I think it was quoted by Swami Vivekananda. It says, Samata sarva bhuteshu etad muktasya lakshanam, meaning equality is the true sign of freedom. Wherever there lies equality, men and women are happy. Anish, would you go to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. So these are our group members who have contributed towards the PPT. Anish and I have contributed towards making the presentation today, and others have created the posters and the PPT. So over to you again, Anish.
Okay. So I would like to say that before I start, I would like to cite an example. I would like to give some statistics over what we are saying. So there is a term called the labor force participation rate, which is currently very low in India. So let me first give some context so that we can understand. The labor force participation rate is a statistic. It is calculated by expressing the number of persons in the labor force as a percentage of the working age population. So we can find it as a sum of the number of persons employed divided by the number of persons unemployed. So this is a problem in India comparatively as compared to the world. The gender gap in India is 50.9%. That is, men in labor force are 70.1%, while women are just 19.2%. So this is one of the issue that we need to address. So according to the International Labor Organization, for men it's 72%, and for women it is just 47%. So that's a difference of 25 percentage points, with some regions facing a gap of 50 percentage points. If we take the aggregate rate in India, it is 50.9%. So these are some of the issues that as a citizen we have to take very seriously and address. That is, wherever we see an example of inequality, we should not stay silent. We should raise our voice and ensure that we try towards a better India. I would also like to state an example. In the Indian Criminal Procedure Code, there is a section called Section 498A. We don't have this in our PPT. I'm just telling what I just read. So it talks about dowry. That is, if someone takes dowry in India, he should be punished under that section. However, the punishments are very severe. So all of us as individuals, we should ensure that we take to the legal recourse only when it is absolutely necessary. That is, we should be a responsible citizen and go to the legal recourse when actual things have happened. Yes, at the same time, we should not stay silent. If we see anyone discriminating on the basis of gender, we should raise our voice and we should stop them. So what can we do to stop this gender inequality? We can change the values of the society and include both women and men in the society. We have to mobilize many sectors of the society for this. Only when the society's perception changes will the rights of all girls and the boys be fulfilled. Especially in the entertainment sector, many notable actresses like Jennifer Lawrence, Priyanka Chopra, Emma Watson have come forward claiming that there exists gender discrimination. It is because of these actresses that we today know the problems faced by women, and these need to be addressed. So, even when the directors or the cinematographers do discrimination, we shall not support them. We shall also take into consideration that discrimination can happen against both genders. As rightly said by the judge in the currently ongoing case of Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, discrimination is not against any one gender. It can happen to any individual. That is why we should not support gender discrimination and we should not have any bias in our mind. It is necessary for us to understand that we must break the social construct of gender. That is, the society has a certain bias towards women and men, that women must do certain jobs and are not suitable for any other job. I think that any person must be judged on the basis of his capability and not on the basis of his gender. This bias must not creep while giving employment or hiring anyone. Everyone should be judged on merit and not gender. So we must provide girls with the necessary services and safety and education and skills that they need in daily life so that we can reduce the risks they face and enable them to fully develop and contribute to the growth of the nation. I would now like to hand over to Anish Mudholkar to further present.
Thank you, Anish. So I would like to start off with an anecdote. So one fine day, my mom was having a dialogue with our house help. The house help has two kids. One of them is a girl and the other is a boy. So my mom asked her, so where does your daughter and your son study? So she replied that my daughter is enrolled in a Marathi medium school, and that is a government school. And my son is enrolled in a private school, and it is an English medium school. And my mom asked, why the discrimination between the two? So she replied that in our society, in their culture, women are not valued and they are thought of as subordinates, while men are thought to be superior to women, and hence we do not care for education of our girls. My mother was deeply hurt by this incident, and she requested our house help to change the school of our girl into a better school. Now, this beautiful poster made by my friend Falguni Kolte depicts the equal roles that should be played by men as well as women in their careers as well as at home while doing the household chores. So on your right side, there is a couple wearing two aprons which has equality sign on it, and they are helping each other to prepare the food. And at the same time, on your left side, the both of them or a different couple are engaging and advancing their careers as well. So that's all we want to talk about today. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Presentation was good. Poster is also very good. You have
Thank you,
taken
ma'am.
a lot of efforts. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Medha, do you want to share something?
Hello,
Hello, Medha.
am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice presentation, Anish Deshpande and Anish Mudhalkar and group, of course. खूप छान प्रेझेंट केलं तुम्ही लोकांनी. स्लोगन
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Next one is Dhriti Shaha. Dhriti
Yes,
is there?
ma'am.
Yeah, Dhriti, please.
So in our group there are 11 people. So the meaning of gender sensitivity is gender sensitization is the concept of gender sensitivity where there is recognition of gender roles, identification of privileges and discrimination within genders, and most importantly, creating gender awareness. Gender sensitization is important because representation is important. Representation of a person and community not only advocates equality but also adds a sense of inclusion to previously marginalized community. Difference between gender and sex. Sex refers to physically differences between people who are male, female. A person typically has their sex assigned at birth. Gender A person whose gender identify is different from their natal sex might identify as transgender. Gender/sex is not binary, it is a spectrum. I would like to hand over. Sorry, ma'am, 1 minute. Aryan Deshpande.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
So, what is gender equality? Gender equality is about men and women being valued to the same extent and sharing equally and fully in the process of development, enjoying equal status, recognition, and consideration. Equality is the cornerstone of every democratic society that aspires to social justice and human rights. Promoting gender equality is essential to achieving significant and sustainable progress related to health, education, environment, civil society, and the economy. Next slide, Riddhi, please. So some of the gender equality themes are combating gender stereotypes. Gender stereotyping presents a serious obstacle to the achievement of real gender equality and feeds into gender discrimination. Gender stereotypes are preconceived ideas whereby males and females are arbitrarily assigned characteristics and roles determined and limited by their sex. Preventing and combating violence against women. Violence against women is the most common violation of women's human rights human rights. And legal reform, there needs to be legal reform to be reduced. And then guaranteeing equal access of women to justice. Persisting inequalities between women and men, gender bias, and stereotypes also result in unequal access of women and men to justice. Then achieving balanced participation of women and men in political and public decision making. The balanced participation of women and men in political and public decision making is a condition for justice and democracy. Then the last theme is gender mainstreaming. Gender mainstreaming is an approach to policy making that takes into account both women and men's interests and concerns aimed at designing better policies. Thank you. I would like to hand over to Samruddhi now.
Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, now I would like to talk about gender inequality. Gender inequality refers to the phenomenon in which men and women are not treated equally. Today also we see many. In today's era also inequality is prevalently seen in many societies, and it still continues. Examples of gender equality are violences, professional obstacles, and access of education. Jyoti, can you please play the next slide? Why is gender inequality? What are the causes of gender inequality in India? The main causes are due to gender discrimination. Here, women are not treated equally as men. They are not given the rights as men are given in the society. All the social norms, customs, and practices are only for women, and they don't apply for men in many societies till date. Inequality is seen due to poverty and literacy. India is still a very in many parts of India. It is still poverty is still illiteracy and poverty is still seen. Due to that, inequality in women and men is still there. Women are not awareness of their rights like men. They are not educated. They are not educated because they are not treated equally as men. They are not given the opportunities as men are given for employment. I would like to now hand over to Khushi for the next presentation.
Feminism. Feminism is an ideology for equality between sexes. Feminism is to ensure women's rights on the ground of equalities of the sexes. It is an advocacy of political, economic, and social equality expressed especially through organized activity on behalf of women's rights and interests. It is basically to ensure women's rights and interest on all these grounds. A feminist is a person who believes in the idea of true equality between sexes. It means that there should be development of women to their fullest potential, and also there should be participation of women in decisions of the society. Fake feminism is also known as pseudo-feminism, relates to women's supremacy and men's hatred. Sometimes it says that women deserves more respect, or sometimes also that people of other genders deserve no respect. It is the opposite of feminism. I would like to hand over to Tanishka.
Thank you. Gender stereotypes are the beliefs that people have about the characteristics of males and females. The content of stereotypes varies over cultures and over time. These expectations are often related to the roles that the sexes fulfill in the culture. Preconceptions about attributes or characteristics or roles that are ought to be possessed by or performed by men or women. Exploring gender stereotypes. Dhriti, would you take it to the another slide? Exploring gender stereotypes about women. Girls should play with dolls, should always use pink or light color, should always be well behaved, like sit properly, eat properly, wear full clothes, be good at academics, be thin and beautiful to make themselves look up to, be home by 7 p.m. or less, should not go out alone, A girl should not talk too much or laugh loudly. Girl should not be one to do all the housework. Should be one to do all the housework. Can you take it to the another slide, Riti? Exploring some gender stereotypes about men. Boys should only use dark or blue color. Boys can't cry or share their emotions. Boys should engage in sports or refrain from more creative pursuits. Men should always be masculine and strong. Men should always be breadwinners of the family. Thank you.
Can you explain me stereotypes regarding women you have mentioned? Please go for slide of exploring gender stereotypes women. Yes. मला सांगू शकतेस की तू याच्यामध्ये असं म्हटली गर्ल शुड बी होम बाय 7 PM or less, should not go out. Is it right now in this period? हे स्टिरियोटाइप आता आपण मोडलं ना, आपण ऍक्च्युअली नाही
हो पण मॅम हे एकेकाळी हे स्टिरियोटाइप होतं आणि अजून पण काही काही घरांमध्ये किंवा काही काही सिच्युएशन्स मध्ये बघायला मिळतात हे म्हणजे खूप ठिकाणी नाही मिळत बघायला, पण काही काही ठिकाणी थोडेसे रिस्ट्रिक्शन असतात की
इट इज नॉट 7 PM but concept is same that you should come early at home.
या राईट. जो फ्रीडम मुलांना मिळतो की तुम्ही कधीही घरी या, तो मुलींना नाही, फक्त डिफरन्स आहे.
So please correct that. I just want to say that.
Sure, ma'am, sure.
Yeah. Go ahead. Next. Hello, who is presenting? Hello, Dhruti, you have finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next one.
Ma'am, shall we present?
Yeah, Anuja.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. It's Anuja Virkar here, and we are presenting. Ma'am, can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay.
Mainstreaming, gender mainstreaming. Okay.
1 minute, ma'am. I can't see.
Oh, yes.
Slides. Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. We are here presenting our gender mainstreaming, and these are our members which have been presented this. So I just want to say that I will hand over to Shruti.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Gender mainstreaming platform is a result of projects coordinated by gender mainstreaming team of European Institute for Gender Equality. Anuja, will you change the slide? Another one. Next one. Gender mainstreaming awareness raising goes hand in hand with gender equality training, and it also acknowledges the way to transmit the necessary information. Anuja, fourth slide. Anuja? Yes. Gender awareness raising aims to promote and encourage a general understanding of gender related challenges, for example, violence against women and the gender pay gap. It also aims at increasing general sensitivity, understanding, and knowledge about gender inequality. It is a process which helps to facilitate the exchange of ideas, improves mutual understanding, and develops skills necessary for social changes. I will hand over to Anuja.
Yes, so gender awareness rising aims to promote evidence and arguments on various topics related to gender equality to increase awareness and knowledge about gender inequality. Second, to foster communication and information exchange so as to improve mutual understanding and learning about general gender inequality. Third, to mobilize communication and society as a whole to bring about the necessary changes in attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs about gender inequality. Shruti, you can go ahead.
Yes. I would like to read one poem on gender equality. Yes, Anuja. Next slide. Yes. Gender equality, what we have been seeking for. Agreed, you said. Yes, women are allowed to be part of working world today. Yes, women are allowed to go on with pants and shirts. Yes, women are allowed to be leaders out there. Yet, I disagree. When she have the capability and creditability, she manages things well slowly. But when comes to decision making at home, a sound rings hard in her ears. Am I the man? Am I am the man of the house. I am the decision maker here. In a flash, gender equality lost its way. Why can't she be heard too? I hand over to Swarali.
Nice.
And at last, I conclude that we should be honest in our efforts and work on changing the social attitudes towards women, and also both men and women must be work together for full gender equality and bring positive changes in society. Thank you.
Very
Thank you,
nice.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Nice presentation.
Okay.
Next.
किती
Okay,
राहिले
the next man.
साधारण? हॅलो.
Can you make me the co-host? I'm Pranav Patil.
किती साधारण राहिलेत अजून?
I have no idea, ma'am.
अजून 2 असतील बहुतेक. 2 3.
मॅम आमचं पण आहे अथर्व गांधी.
Okay, okay. You can put it on chat box, so we will check it. Pranav,
Good
please
evening.
start.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pranav Patil, and our group name is It's Not Us, Not Him. It's Us, Not Him or Her. We don't have a slogan, but I would like to quote something. Men, their rights and nothing more. Women, their rights and nothing less. This was by Susan Anthony. Before we begin, let's talk about some. These are my team members.
Okay.
Before we begin, let's talk about some important terminologies. Sex is something which is often interchangeably used with gender, but these are two different terms. Sex is something which is assigned to us like a label the moment we are born, and while gender is something which is socially and culturally influenced. Ma'am? Hello, ma'am?
बोल.
Ma'am?
Yes, Pranav.
Can I
Yes,
ask you
yes.
something?
Yes.
Do you know about the goddess of cross-dressing?
Sorry.
Do you know about the goddess of cross-dressing?
No. You can
It's,
explain, please.
yes, ma'am. It's Bhagwati Devi. Every year, men dress as women and worship her. And there are several other instances where we could see that our ancestors were more gender fluid, and the gender sex system was never existed during that time. I would like Sapna to continue from here. Sapna.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all. So, I would like to explain you all about the gender ideology. The most common basis of gender ideology is biological determinism. That is, the biological difference between men and women automatically translate into differences in their social roles. Yeah, let's move on to the next slide. Gender discrimination. It is a situation in which people are treated differently simply because they are male or female rather than on the basis of their individual skills or capabilities. Yeah, moving on to the next slide. Gender equality is basically giving equal opportunities to both the gender, that is male and female, without any consideration differentiation. In India, while boys tend to experience greater freedom and girls tend to face extensive limitations on their ability, it is we, the society, we should not discriminate and should give equal rights, responsibilities, and equal value to all. Thank you. Over to you, Radheya.
Thank you, Sapna. I would like to continue from here. So, what is gender equality? Gender equality or equality between men and women. It actually refers to having equal rights and opportunities and the treatment which they deserve. It implies all the human beings we are free to develop our abilities and take our choices immediately. Individually, there are no need of the stereotypes and prejudices about the gender roles or the characteristics of men and women. It does not mean that women and men are the same or have to become the same, but that their rights and responsibilities, social statuses have to be equal to the resources which do not depend whether they are born male or female. So, the concept of gender equity, which is also known as gender justice, which is the fair treatment of both the genders and to take into account the different needs of men, boys, and girls, cultural barriers, and the effects of the discrimination of the specific group. So, the quote which is given therein, which is a stork and a fox cannot eat from the same dishes and same types, which means that do not play tricks on your neighbors unless you can stand the same treatment yourself. Why is gender sensitivity needed? Gender, it is one of the central social institutions a person joins at an early age. Expectations, models, and structures related to the gender have notable effect on growing up, which is the basic things which are put in your mind, and you tend to grow up with them. And sometimes you can actually take a really wrong learning with that. So society continuously constructs and reproduces models and norms of a correct way of being a girl and boy, man or a woman, which is the basic standards which have already been set up in our mind that you should act like this and the woman should act like this, which is actually wrong. Gender sensitive work is a way of responding to the discussion. It is an attempt to identify and question the gender norms and the narrow individual's own way of expressing the gender, which is basically how you have to act according to your nature, and it's all the stereotypical nature. So the gender mainstreaming. This concept actually states that it is a strategy to improve the quality of the policies, programs, and projects, ensuring an efficient allocation of resources among both the genders. Better results mean increased well-being for both men and women, being the creation of more socially just and sustainable society. It's actually the rules which have been set up, and it was actually in the first time in Beijing in 1995 in the Fourth World Conference, and it is actually for a benefit of the equality and not equality being perpetuated. The ultimate goal of mainstreaming is to achieve gender equality. I would like to have Shreyas to continue from here.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thanks, Radhe. Can one next? Yes. So, like we discuss about gender sensitivity, so it should start among youth. Like kids should learn about gender sensitivity too. Like they shouldn't think that women are only doing kitchen work and men good jobs. They should also learn that men can also do cooking and women can also do job. So it is important for young generation to know about gender sensitivity, so that in future it will benefit for themselves and for the country, and there will be no gender discrimination left. We often believe that women are in the various companies, men are bosses and women aren't. But that should be changed, because women are more than capable for handling a company, like men does. So like women are also paid less than men, so it shouldn't happen. Like nobody will accept a woman boss. Like there is a mindset of people, like if boss is there, then there should be a man boss. Like why should we listen to women and all that? So it shouldn't happen. Can you next slide, please? Like self-reflection. So self-reflection basically, we should, before telling others to implement gender sensitivity, we should also implement it to ourselves too. We should, then reflection has to do both with learning and unlearning. Sometimes it's necessary to let the go of customer expectations and procedures. So I would like to go to handle to Madhura.
Thank you, Shreyas. Good evening, everyone. Indicators and gender sensitive indicators. Gender sensitive indicators are used to see the development of program and projects which were implemented for result of the gender equality. Gender sensitive indicators measure gender related changes in society over time. The difference between indicator and statistic is that, for example, a statistic would be 50% of women are literate, whereas indicator would be 50% women, 50% of women are literate and 70% of men literate. Next slide. Well, people always consider that women are so sentimental and emotional. They enjoy stuff like doing dishes, cooking, and artwork, and they are born to take care and to do these things. They say women are not great for managerial positions. They are more into their looks and their appearance. On the other hand, for men, there are stereotypes that men are less caring or they are less emotional. They are not strong. They are strong and they are born to do hard stuff. They are not shy and hesitant. I don't think that these attributes are for certain gender. A man can be emotional. A woman can run company. A woman maybe can't cook. A man can cook. Next slide. In Finland, they apply gender-sensitive work approach with adults. Matilia Community Center for Men and Naistri Community Resource Center for Immigrant Women in Tampere. Their main focus is to treat everyone equally, despite of their differences in culture, religion, social class, sexual orientations. Activities are planned according to the participants. Now, thank you. I'd like to hand over to Sarah.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Now I will tell about the key findings from our project. First, we have seen that there is a lack of conceptual clarity on gender concepts, mainstreaming. There is an immense need to make gender visible, specific, and also concrete. Since childhood, we have very limited exposure to these tools. So we need to increase the exposure to these tools so that everyone will know about it. We have changed the slide. Pranav,
Yes.
please take back to previous slide. Yes, thank you.
Apologies.
No problem. We have a very important $1 million question, that how to integrate gender with these technical areas, and also we have to establish benchmark for effectiveness of interventions. Pranav, next slide. We need to develop mechanisms for accountability on gender mainstreaming. There is lack of gender indicators that would help track progress made in this era. We have a lack of consistency, sustainability of gender mainstreaming throughout institutional structures and mechanisms. We have to make sure that we increase these tools in institutional structure so that right from childhood we are exposed to such tools. Next, positive outcomes from our project are we are creating work environment to make professional and private life more balanced. Like we have to make it balanced and flexible working time, working from home arrangement to promote family friendly workplace. Also, we have to improve our sex balance at all levels, particularly at senior levels. Resource tracking through separate budget lines, how to make gender budgeting applicable to constituent needs. Improved efforts at gender mainstreaming in technical cooperation projects is needed. Thank you. Now I would like to hand over to Prajakta.
Thank you, Sarang. Here are some positive outcomes of gender-sensitive approach. First one is new user-friendly tools on gender and child labor published. Advocacy strategies for promoting gender equality in different programs strengthened. Gender focal teams set up to monitor implementation of audit recognition, contribution to team building, cohesiveness, and growth of culture of sharing information and knowledge on gender issues within the unit. Develop monitoring systems that are qualitative and quantitative based on participatory self-assessment and peer group review. Develop more management practices that are based on promoting reflection and learning as basis of for improved performance. So these are outcomes, but there are many challenges faced by the unions to reach this outcome. Okay, reality checks. The challenges such as lack of political will from some union leaders, which results in low participation of women in union activities and their absence at decision-making position in the unions of society. Limited training opportunity for women. Okay, we see in society there are very less opportunity for women than the men. Insufficient specific training related to gender and women also needs to be addressed to change the culture of the unions. Recruiting young women teachers and ensuring their active participation in unions activities. Violence against women at workplace. There are such places where the women faces violence, and many women are hard for many women it is hard to balance the family and professional life also. Equality in union leadership. Next slide, please. Okay, here are some more challenges. Union needs to have their own gender policy and equity
Hello?
work plan.
Hello, 1 minute. Please don't read the slides. Okay. You
Hello.
can mention challenges. Don't read slide. Okay.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Sorry.
And युनियन हे कोणत्या कॉन्टेस्ट मध्ये म्हणतीयस तू?
Ma'am, like the trust, like which are
Labor unions, ma'am.
that labor union.
Okay, okay, okay. Continue, please continue.
Okay, need to generate indicators that enable unions to measure the advances regarding equality inside the structures and also in education sector. The mainly we see that in education sector the girl child scores more than boy child. So the parents are like why the parents are like to compare the both childs between the scores and their okay sorry so there are comparability between there to ensure that institution policy on equality remains stable regardless of the changing of executive board. The next one is to work harder for inclusive education policies with gender equity perspective. Improve the percentage of women's participation in national leadership. Okay, so nowadays most of the people are aware of gender sensitive approach, but there are still some areas or culture, religions where the gender discrimination is still alive. Okay, I'm handing over to Radhe. Thank you.
So, ma'am, I would like to conclude by saying that a gender equal society would be one
where the word gender does not exist, where everyone can be themselves, a society which fails to harness the energy and creativity of the men and women equally, it has a huge risk and at the disadvantage in the modern world. It's not always about being the alpha. You can even work without having the tag and without being on the charts. Thank you. I would like to thank all the group members for cooperating and thank you, ma'am, for letting us present.
Yeah, thank you. Nice. But I would like to suggest you that please study on labor unions, because nowadays labor unions are not that much strong. So the challenges through labor unions are not that much effective. So please read more about it. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, we felt the time wasn't enough for us.
Yes, yes, because now unions are very weak and
Yes,
labor
ma'am.
unions are not working that effectively. So please read about it. Okay?
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayuresh, please.
Ma'am, can you make Karan Joshi the co-host?
Yes, Mayuresh is, I think Mayuresh is starting presentation. Mayuresh? Mayuresh Ghorpade?
Ma'am, actually, I had put our meeting long back.
Okay, okay, Mayuresh, Mayuresh, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Please,
ma'am.
please mute your mic. Only one can speak. Who is
हॅलो मॅम,
speaking?
आवाज येतोय का?
हो येतोय.
मॅम मी प्रेझेंट करू शकतो का?
हो कर कर.
मॅम
Hmm? Yes, who is speaking? Hello. Hello. Mayuresh?
हॅलो मॅम करतो.
Yes.
Yes, Shubham, please, you have to wait, right?
मॅम आम्ही मगासपासून 2-3 वेळा बोललो, आम्हाला देतच नाहीये चान्स.
अरे हो, सगळ्यांचे वन बाय वन होणारच आहे ना. आता मयुरेश गोरपडे इज देअर, राईट?
येस मॅम.
Yes. Geeta ma'am, is it okay?
Yes, yes, Mayuresh, please start. After Mayuresh,
मला
Shubham, you
co-host
can.
करता का प्लीज?
अरे को-होस्ट न करताही तुम्ही शेअर स्क्रीन करू शकता. ट्राय इट वन्स.
येस.
येस.
मॅम दिसते स्क्रीन?
येस, इट इज विजिबल.
आणि कुणाकुणाची प्रेझेंटेशन अजून राहिली आहे त्यांनी जरा चॅट बॉक्स मध्ये टाका, बिकॉज वी हॅव टू मॅनेज द टाइम. ओके?
येस. प्लीज पुट युअर डिटेल्स इन टू द चॅट बॉक्स.
मॅम आमचा ग्रुप चालू करेल.
येस मयुरेश, प्लीज.
येस.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Am I
Who's
audible?
this?
Nisa.
Yes. Nisa, you have to wait. Mayuresh is presenting his presentation, right?
नाही मॅम, आम्ही सेम ग्रुप मध्ये होतो.
Acha. Okay. Sorry. You can start.
Okay. So, ma'am, our group name is Fighting Against Abuse, and our slogan is Shatter the Silence and End the Violence. And we have 20 members. Ma'am, may I begin with the presentation?
Yes, please.
Okay. So hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nisa Kole, and today me and my friends are going to discuss a very ambiguous yet interesting topic, abuse. The reason I described our topic as ambiguous is because there are still many people who are victims of abuse that think that all of this is normal or all of this is okay. And now we're in the 21st century, and yet cases of abuse continue to rise day by day, which leaves youth like us pondering about which direction our society is really headed in. I remember watching a film, Thappad, which is about domestic violence, a type of physical abuse, a few months ago, and instances normalizing domestic violence and saying, "ये तो होता ही है, पत्नी पे गुस्सा नहीं निकलेगा तो किस पे निकलेगा," absolutely made me question about the type of behavior we are condoning. Hence, today me and my team are going to try and contribute a little drop in the ocean for spreading awareness about abuse. Mayuresh, the next slide. Next slide. So I would like to start out with the basic definition of abuse. It is defined as anything that is harmful, injurious, or offensive to a person, animal, or for that matter, the environment. There are five main types of abuses we're going to talk about today: physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, technological abuse, and financial abuse. Now, my friend Zui will elaborate and explain more about physical abuse.
Physical abuse. Physical abuse is when someone hurts or harms another person on purpose. It is an intentional bodily injury. It causes trauma to the person being harmed. Some examples include slapping, choking, kicking, shoving, inappropriate use of drugs, physical restraints, non consensual contact, etc. This can include more than one abuser and more than one victim, regardless of their gender or age. Anushka would now like to present an example of physical abuse.
Yes. Mahesh, can you please play the video?
Tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
Yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
And what did you say in response when Miss Heard said, "Tell the world, Johnny, tell them Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp, a man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence"?
Yeah. I am.
सो कालच्या आणि आजच्या बऱ्याच प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये खूप लोकांनी जॉनी डेप वर्सेस अँबर हर्टच्या केस बद्दल एक्झाम्पल दिलं, बट मी थोडस अजून नक्की काय केस आहे ती सांगते. सो अँबर हर्ट went out with a public article calling herself a victim of extreme domestic violence, and she was a champion of women's right and suffering during whole Me Too movement. She had put a very serious allegations on Johnny Depp. That's when Johnny Depp said, "It's not Amber Heard, victim of domestic violence in this relationship. It's me." He was a legendary movie star at the time, and in many ways, this case ended his career. Even before the verdict was passed, he was declared guilty. He was thrown out of all his projects. He suffered professional, personal loss because of this case. This case is still going on in court. The trials are still going on. No one is declared guilty yet. But from all the proof which Johnny Depp's lawyer is presenting in the court, it's my opinion that Amber Heard is guilty. Johnny Depp is a victim of domestic violence. Because of cases like this, we get to know that not only women but also men can be a victim of domestic violence. Thank you. Zoe, will you further elaborate?
Physically abused victims are at risk for later interpersonal problems involving aggressive behavior, and adolescents are at much greater risk for substance use disorders. In addition, symptoms of depression, emotional distress, and suicidal ideation are also common features of people who have been physically abused. Studies have also shown that victims of physical abuse suffer through severe PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder. I'd like to call upon Devika to further elaborate on emotional abuse.
Yes, thank you, Zoe. Mayuresh, could you please take me to the emotional abuse slide? Yes, thank you, Mayuresh. Emotional abuse is defined as a systematic tearing down of a human being. It is the most common, cruelest, and the most destructive types of abuse. An infant who is being severely deprived of basic nurturing can fail to thrive, and eventually he may die. Mayuresh, please can you scroll the slide? Thank you. Making fun of child, name calling, always finding a fault, and not showing respect can damage a child's self-esteem. When emotional abuse occurs often and over a long period of time, it can have a lifetime impact on the child. So basically, emotional abuse is a form of violence. It is an improper and unhealthy way to interact with the other people. Emotional abuse in legal terms may also be called as undue influence. wherein the dominating party dominates the other party. Generally, the dominating party has close relationship with the other party. Because of this, the aggrieved party loses the confidence and self-belief. The aggrieved party may feel that he or she is not capable of doing anything, even though he or she has the potential to do so. In some countries, it is considered as a crime and it's being punished by the law. Yes, it can be prevented. Over to Zoe. Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Zoe?
Sexual abuse or sex abuse, also referred as aggression, is abusive behavior by one person upon another. It is often perpetrated using force or by taking advantage of another. When force is immediate or of short course or infrequent, it is called as sexual abuse. The offender is referred to a sexual abuser or a molester. The term also covers any behavior by an adult or older adolescent towards a child to simulate any of any of the involved sexual abuses. The use of child or other individual younger than the age of consent for sexual stimulation is referred to sexual abuse. Live streaming of sexual abuse involves trafficking and rape in real time or on webcam.
Next,
Hello,
technological
am I
abuse.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Technology facilitated abuse is a form of controlling behavior that involves the use of technology as a means to coerce, stalk, or harass another person. The online harassment is specifically targeted at women and girls that incorporate sexism, racism, religious prejudice, homophobia, transphobia, and other forms of oppression. Examples of technology abuse include sending threatening messages, tracking someone's whereabouts, or sharing explicit images of someone, demanding your partner's passwords, or constantly checking their phone log are additional forms of technology abuse. Over to you, Mayuresh.
Yes, thank you, Gauri. Next, माझं financial abuse. So financial abuse is a form of family violence. It can include withholding money, controlling all the household spending, or refusing to include you in the financial decisions. Financial abuse can happen to anyone. कोणाला येऊ शकतं ते असं काही हे नाही. आता फॅमिली अब्यूज म्हणजे फायनान्शियल अब्यूज मध्ये बरेच प्रकार येतात. तर त्यातलं एक म्हणजे टेकिंग कंट्रोल ऑफ समवन एल्सेस फायनान्सेस. Example, being in charge of all the household income and paying the other person's an allowance, controlling how all of the household income is spent, forcing the family member to claim a social security benefits like Centrelink, making a family member with a guarantor on a loan or taking out a loan in their name, making a family member take out a second credit card, forcing a family member to work in a family business without being paid. असं आपण बरेच गोष्टी बघतो की घरी पण हे सगळं असं बघितलं जातं की म्हणजे असं बाबा वगैरे एकटेच कमवतात काय कायांच्या घरी, मग त्यांच्यावर सगळा लोड असतो किंवा असे इतर गोष्टी असतात. नेक्स्ट नंतर फायलिंग फ्रॉड्युलंट इन्शुरन्स क्लेम्स, देन फोर्जिंग अ फॅमिली मेंबर सिग्नेचर ऑन फायनान्शियल डॉक्युमेंट्स. हे तर खूप नॉर्मल आहे, म्हणजे खूप लोकांमध्ये असं दिसून येतं यावेळी की फोर्जिंग हे लिटरली स्कूलमध्ये पण स्टुडंट्स फोर्ज करतात त्यांच्या पॅरेंट्सची साईन रिझल्ट कार्डवर वगैरे. देन नेक्स्ट इज टेकिंग मनी आउट ऑफ अ फॅमिली मेंबर्स पेन्शन, सेलिंग अ फॅमिली मेंबर्स पोझिशन विदाउट परमिशन, misusing and enduring power of attorney, forcing a family member to change their will. Then next topic is stopping a family member from earning their own money. Then stopping a family member from getting a job or going to work. Stopping a family member from going to work or important meetings by keeping them all night or physically hurting them. Then stopping a family member from studying, stalking or harassing a family member's colleagues, etc. Thank you. So I hereby request Mugdha to please conclude.
So hereby I conclude this PPT, and from this we can know it may be financial abuse, it may be emotional, it may be sexual abuse. Each and every abuse is very torturing for a human mentality. Hereby I give credits to Sejal, Varat, Zoe, Abhijit, Kalyani, Rucha, Karnavi, Mayuresh, Tanmay, Prasad, Nisha, Revati, Suru, Devika, Tejas, Anuli, Gauri, Aditi, Niranjana, and Anushka. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you very much. Very nice presentation. आतापर्यंतच्या झालेल्या प्रेझेंटेशन्स मधलं सगळ्यात चांगलं प्रेझेंटेशन आहे. यू हॅव
Hello, ma'am.
स्टडीड वेल. हॅलो, यू आर गेटिंग मी?
येस, ऍक्च्युली मी याच ग्रुपमधली आहे. मला एक सजेस्ट करायचं होतं. बिअर बाय
झालं आमचं.
रणवीर अलाहाबादी या एक पॉडकास्ट, तो एक पॉडकास्टर आहे, तर त्याचा पॉडकास्ट आहे. तर त्याचा एक रिसेंटली जॉनी डेप आणि अँबर हर्डच्या सगळ्या सिच्युएशनवर त्यांनी एक मेन्स राईट वर पॉडकास्ट काढला होता. दीपिका भारद्वाज, जी वुमन जी ऍक्टिव्हिस्ट आहे, जी जे मेन डोमेस्टिक व्हायलन्सचे त्याच्यासाठी ती काम करते. तिच्या फॅमिलीमध्ये ती पर्सनली या सगळ्यातनं गेली आहे. ती एक जर्नलिस्ट होती, पण त्याच्यानंतर तिने आय थिंक लॉची डिग्री घेऊन या अख्ख्या फील्डमध्ये आली आणि आता ती टॉप मोस्ट ऍक्टिव्हिस्ट आहे.
येस येस, फार फार छान तुम्ही हे केलं, प्रेझेंटेशन केलं. बेसिकली त्याच्यावरचा अभ्यास, वाचन, तो टॉपिक समजून घेऊन ते प्रेझेंटेशन. व्हेरी गुड प्रेझेंटेशन, व्हेरी गुड प्रेझेंटेशन. येस,
Thank you, ma'am.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Nice work. Next, Vedangi, no? I think Vedangi is there. Medha, do you want to share something?
येतोय आवाज माझा?
हो, येतोय.
ओके, चांगलं होतं प्रेझेंटेशन. त्यांनी अब्यूज वर चांगला फोकस केला आणि सगळ्यांनी केलेली मेहनत दिसत होती. कॉपी पेस्ट नव्हता प्रेझेंटेशन, हे जाणवलं. गुड अटेम्प्ट. जाऊया आपण पुढे. येस,
Vedangi, no? I think Vedangi.
Yes, ma'am. Karan Joshi, we are in the same group. He is sharing this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please start.
Good afternoon, everybody. My group and I are giving a presentation on understanding gender. Next slide. We need to differentiate between biological sex of a person and gender. While the sex of a person is a factor that they are born with, gender is a social construct influenced by norms, behaviors, and society. Society expressions of this identity may not be limited to their gender assigned at birth. Next slide. There are approximately 68 gender expressions and identity included, but not limited to male, female, trans woman, trans man, agender, pagender, third gender, etc. Over to you, Purva.
Thank you, Maitreyi. Gender equality prevents violence against any gender. It's essential for economic prosperity. Societies that value women and men as equal are safer and healthier. Gender equality is a basic human right. Need for gender equality, as it's
practice makes sure that opportunities provided to people are fair and accessible to everyone. Usually, women are promoted less often than men. This comes under female discrimination. Also, this happens in case of men too. And not only just male and female are discriminated, but other genders are too. For example, transgenders today too don't get family rights and they still don't have freedom to practice their chosen religion. Next slide. This picture represents people who support equality within genders. Now let's take a look at transphobia. Over to you, Prachuti.
Thank you, Purva. Transphobia. Transphobia is a type of gender discrimination in which people do not show acceptance towards the third gender or the transgender. These are called as transphobic people. The transgenders are the people who do not confer with the traditional gender roles. There is less awareness in the society about transgenders, and so they are looked down upon. Transphobic people have hatred towards transgenders, because of which the latter are subjected to physical and mental abuse. Next slide. Transphobia can be shown with the help of a pyramid. The base of this pyramid is formed by the stereotypes, or the people who are conservatives and who have an orthodox mindset. They are ignorant people who initiate the feelings of prejudice amongst others. This prejudice forms the second level of the pyramid, and it leads to the discrimination of transgenders by the society. Discrimination forms the third level of the pyramid. The effects of the same can be seen in the form of abuse and assaults on transgenders. If we remove any one of these bricks of the pyramid, it will scramble. So to have a society with equal rights to transgenders, we need to remove the bricks of the pyramid step by step. This is because they are also humans and have the right to live. Over to you, Karan.
Okay. Now, misgendering it can be any sort of form of transphobia which is done intentionally. People who are non-binary or gender non-conforming coming into their authentic gender can be an important and affirming stage in their life. Sometimes people continue to refer to a person who is non-binary or gender non-conforming using terms related to how they are identified before any transition. We need to normalize not assuming a person's pronouns as they are a part of their identity and might feel misrepresented. A simple question like what are your preferred pronouns should be mandatory and should be respected. Even social media platforms such as Instagram and much more are recognizing the need for pronouns. Over to you, Vedant.
Thank you, Karan. As today's our topic is about understanding our gender, there are always some barriers and obstacles for this. But there are some notable and famous persons who break these barriers, who prove these stereotypes false. One of them is Gauri Sawant, who adopted a child as a trans woman. And then there's Kalpana Chawla, who was a female astronaut in a predominantly male industry. Then there's Malala, who stood up for female education. Then there's Harry Styles, who broke the gender norms for male expression, male fashion, and clothing through self-expressions. Please, next slide, please. Changing times will prove it to us. Until then, the only way we move forward is by taking care of each other, especially the most vulnerable around us, because together we can make it happen. Thank you, everyone.
Nice presentation. Nice. Very nice. Okay, can we go ahead because we have two more presentations and now it's 5. So next group, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Just a minute.
I'll
Yes. Please start and please try to finish within 5 minutes. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I'd like to start with narrating an incident. Recently, in a press conference, Preet Zinta, who is a famous actress, as well as a successful entrepreneur and owner of IPL franchise of Punjab Kings, said that behind every successful man, there is a woman, and behind every successful woman, there is a progressive man. And by progressive man, she means a person who is not bound with all the um, हॅलो हॅलो
हा बोल आदित्य.
मॅम आवाज येतोय माझा?
हो येतोय येतोय.
And by progressive man, she means a person who is not bound with all the old thoughts of people who say women are less important than men. But a progressive man is a person who understands the need of giving freedom to a woman, or understands the need of giving the same respect which he deserves from the society. We'll start our presentation. So gender sensitivity is nothing but ability of recognizing the fact that both of the genders are similar. There should not be any sort of discrimination on any matter. There should not be any discrimination in the pay scale. There should not be any discrimination in social background, etc. Gender analysis refers to political situations and the different factors which put one gender in a position which can be exploited. Now, what we can do is bring a change within. We know that there are many people in our society. There are many elders who still believe in old stereotype thoughts, and it is very difficult for them to remove those thoughts. We cannot order any current management, or we cannot even order any government to change their views on and policies on a specific gender. But what we can do is bring a change within and try and respect all the genders in a similar manner. It will help to resolve many various conflicts and help the other gender to also develop. We should also be conscious about needs of other gender. We should not be selfish in nature. Understanding needs will also help us in understanding the problems which all the people face and bring out solutions if we can on those problems.
आदित्य,
Yes.
स्लाइड्स तुझ्या पुढे स्क्रोल होत नाहीये.
ओके मॅम आता एक सेकंड. 6th slide मॅम आता मी प्रेझेंट करतो, तीच दिसते ना?
हो, येस.
Lastly, I would like to say that both the genders are equal and they should be treated in the similar manner. Decision making, representation in government, and even in the small basis such as in a house should be made. Okay, over to you, Mihir.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So gender equality gives a message that men and women should be treated equally, and people of different genders, any gender, should be treated equally, and everyone is able to be in a decision-making position in any job field. Can you change the slide, please? Hello?
Yes, just a minute.
Yeah. So generally, sex and gender are used interchangeably, whereas they shouldn't be, because sex identifies the biological difference between a male and a female, whereas gender is a status. So people should understand that gender is different from sex and treat that word as a different aspect of a human being. Can you change the slide, please?
Yes.
Yeah, next one. Yeah, so there are different sex gender systems which are accepted culturally and socially in different geographical places. So the gender system which can be accepted in India can be different from what is accepted in America or Australia. And people should learn to understand these systems and adapt and change according to time. And there are different gender roles which are learned behaviors in given society or community, which again should be accepted and people should adapt to them and change accordingly, according to time. And as we end our presentation, I would like to share two quotes which encompass the message of gender equality very well. The first one is, strength has no gender. And the second one is, as the sun rises and sets, it rises and sets for everyone and not for a particular gender. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Very good, very good.
Good presentation.
Now last. Hello. Yes.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, audible. Please, Atharva.
Yes. So good evening, ma'am and my friends. So here we go with our presentation, LGBT discrimination. As we all know, what is LGBTQ? That basically means lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. So here in this presentation, we are going to talk about LGBTQ community and discrimination faced by them and how do we tackle them. Ma'am, is my next slide visible?
No.
Okay, wait. Yes. So we go with the slogan which says equal people, equal rights, equal love. That simply means we should prioritize humanity over gender and love everyone equally. We are going to discuss the discrimination faced by the LGBT community, but before we should discuss how to give them a proper stand. All the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer community, and even we, all the people supporting them, should stand with them to give them recognition or fighting their problems. So here are some stats I'm going to present about the LGBTQ community. 21% of LGBT students, that is right from the school age, they start facing bullying and other problems. 15% of LGBT employees, so that the employers are not able to give them proper stand or give them proper work culture. 40% of homeless teens are part of the LGBT community. 25% of LGBT teens are rejected by their own family. So if their own family can't accept them, there's a long way for us to go to support them. 22% of LGBT members living in nursing homes feel they can be open about their gender identity with staff. What types of discrimination plagues faced by the LGBTQ community? First one is abuse. It is both physical and verbal. All the school ages and even matured people abuse directly or indirectly the LGBT community. Second one is exclusion from social or professional events or activities. The claims made by LGBT members are also ignored. Unfair treatment in the workplace by employers and co-workers. That is, they are not given a proper work culture. The last one is indirect abuse, such as graffiti or gossip. This is just a descriptive list and not an exhaustive one. So here are some ways we can tackle their problems. The first is by getting everyone educated about this. We should educate the students right from the school and normalize this topic. Different ways to educate old people are through films, ads, newspapers, etc. Now I request Siddhant to explain the next slide.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Education is important for ending any type of discrimination. So similarly, steps were taken in that direction to stop the bullying and discrimination of the LGBTQ community. The GSA Act, that is the Gay Straight Alliance, are becoming popular. They are taking steps for educating masses that LGBTQ community are no different from one another, and we are all one. Athava, next slide. So, ma'am, many celebrities like singer Lady Gaga and actor Josh Hutcherson have came forward and supported the Gay Straight Alliance Network to help end homophobia in schools. Now, I will ask Prathamesh to go forward.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
So basically, the LGBT community just need acceptance from the society as our support towards them. The remember 1 minute, ma'am. Remember that all the LGBTQ community wants to accept it and treated the same as the heterosexual communities. We should accept them and their gender preference. We should not judge them based on their gender, but judge them as a human they are. So I request Atharva to explain next slide, please.
Yes, Shaunak. Shaunak Devkar, hello.
Shaunak is not there. Please.
Yes, ma'am, I'm there. Yeah. So what do we should know from all of this? Yeah. So the only requirement you as a good person needs to do when interacting with a lesbian, gay, or bisexual, or any other transgender community is that they are no different than you. Treat them as an equal human being. They are simply flesh and bone as well as all we are. All they are looking for is being treated with respect and to live their lives as well as we do. They are looking for equality, peace, and acceptance. It is everyone's right to live a long, happy life free from discrimination.
Yes, thank you everyone for your patient listening. And
Yes.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Nice presentation.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think we are over with all presentations. Ma'am.
Yes, anyone is there for presentation? Anyone is left?
Yes, ma'am.
Participants are.
Yes, who's this?
Ma'am, I'm Rohit. Our group's presentation is remaining.
Okay, then other than Rohit,
Yeah,
is there anyone? Okay, Rohit. Geeta ma'am, can Rohit give a presentation?
Yes. Rohit, please finish within 5 minutes because already we have
Yes, it is already a 5.5. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll finish it as fast as I can.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Ma'am, can you see my screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, ma'am. So today only I'll be presenting the whole PPT as rest of my team members actually prepared the PPT and did the research. I was in charge of presenting the PPT.
Are not present for the presentation?
Ma'am, I don't know if they are in the meeting, but we had selected me as the presenter of the PPT.
Oh, they should be in a online class.
Ma'am, I haven't checked if they are in the meeting or not.
Okay, please continue.
Okay, Rohit, you just go ahead with the slides.
Okay.
Make it fast.
Our group, the name of our group is Avengers, and our slogan is written right here. It is "Don't fear, speak out," and our topic is abuse.
Okay.
Okay.
So the definition that is available online, anyone can look it up. So it's not really worth me speaking over. I just want to say that outside of the definition that is given online, there are a few more definitions, and abuse cannot be defined. Everyone has different experience of abuse, and simplifying it or putting it in some words and calling it abuse is a crime, is what I feel.
Okay.
There are various types of abuse. First one is emotional abuse, where a person is constantly tormented by the society, and uh, he or she are at the point of not accepting themselves as they are, and they constantly try to improve themselves just because other people are blaming them. Second type of abuse is financial abuse. In this abuse, the one partner or one parent withholds uh, the money that other person deserves or requires for basic needs, just to show them that they have power or control over the other person. This is really the worst type of abuse one can do, among other things, because money is needed just for the basic needs of our society, unfortunately. So that financial abuse is not a very good thing to do. Other thing is physical abuse. Physical abuse is present, unfortunately, everywhere in our society. It might be happening, it might also be happening in some of our homes, but we are afraid to speak about it because it is such a taboo topic, and we have been told to shush it, and we have been told not to speak about it, otherwise our image will get ruined. The next abuse is sexual abuse. Here, predatory behavior from people, for example, pedophiles, uh, or people of the same age, they are present in sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is also known as rape. It is one famous case of rape was Nirbhayas in New Delhi. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the case. It was a very horrible thing, and unfortunately, it is still present in the society. And we should do all we can to reduce or rather eliminate this type of abuse. Verbal abuse, it is when peers or someone in a position of power uses their position to criticize and use their words in a harmful way, such as name calling and racism. This is not accepted, and it is also unfortunately present everywhere, even in schools and colleges. Elder abuse, where elder are not able to take care of themselves. In such a condition, people take advantage of this, the inability of elders to take care of themselves, and they use it as to take money or uh, just enjoy seeing other people suffer. Spiritual abuse is when someone is sorry. Spiritual abuse is when someone disrespects your religion or makes fun of your religion, or the practices of your religion, and you are physically or verbally abused just because you have been practicing your religion peacefully. Child abuse is present everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, India is one of the leading countries of child abuse cases. Child abuse can be in many forms. It can be physical, verbal, emotional, and unfortunately, every 1 in 5 child had suffered from child abuse, according to the statistics by the 2015 poll. In conclusion, abuse is a taboo topic, and many people are told to hide it because it will ruin their image in society. It is a very real thing, and it is our duty to encourage people to speak up about it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rohit. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, Tapasya ma'am, can we leave the meeting?
Yes, ma'am, sure. I guess all students done with the presentation.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Ma'am, thank you so much from Kaveri College. It was a nice session organized by you. And Medha ma'am, also thank to you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, your technical support is very good, and overall support for the presentation was good. So we can do
Yes.
it. But
Yes.
participation this year,
Participation, yes.
it's not that much
That much
satisfied.
up to mark. Yes,
Uh,
right.
yes, yes, yes. Because
No issues. Thank
last
you very
year,
much. Hmm.
yeah. Last year we have very good experience. This
Okay.
though it is online, but this
Yes.
year, okay, we'll meet
Okay
soon.
then.
Thank you
Uh,
very much.
okay. Can we stop? Can I leave
Yes,
end the
yes,
meet?
yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.